Was curious about last night in the game and the score. Sure looks like it would have been a game that would have been right up your alley. Can you tell us a little bit about how things went last night?
Sorry, could you repeat that question again? I had a couple of guys that accidentally walked in here.
Sorry, just based on last night's game and the score that was reported, it sounds like it was a game that was kind of right up your guys' alley in terms of just being low scoring, tough-nosed defensive game. Can you tell us a little bit about how it went for you guys last night and your vantage point?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I think that the guys, both offense and defensively, just came to work, and they all, put in their best effort. Really, gave each other their best looks, and didn't really, I just capitalized on all their opportunities. Everybody just capitalized on all their opportunities, and just, had a good time, and it was competitive and it was fun, and obviously we loved it.
All right, we'll go to Dan Raley. He'll be followed by Kim Reynolds and then Larshanson. Go ahead, Dan.
Well, Terrence, more to the point, that Jimmy Lake tweeted that it was 9-6. Sounds like the defense dominated. Is that the case?
No, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think that each side of the ball had their shots, and I think that, like I said, everybody took advantage of their opportunities, and it presented itself in the score.
Well, if it was 9-6, does that mean there wasn't a touchdown scored?
No, the ball found a way, to get some. They found a way to get some points on the board, so that's what matters, right? They found a way to get some points on the board.
All right, we'll go to Kim Reynolds, followed by Larshanson. Go ahead, Kim.
Hey, Coach, one of the big competitions for both spring ball and fall ball has always been best hands in the room. Can you give us an update on that and tell us who's the leader in the clubhouse?
Yeah, we definitely find a way to, keep it competitive in our room. That's always been the case here over the years. And it's definitely a group of guys that are up there, competing for the spot. Elijah found a way to get the ball the other day. And, there have been plenty of other guys. Dom Hampton has shown up, Mish Powell, Trent. There have been multiple guys that have had the opportunity to touch the ball during practice. And it's been fun to watch. That's our job, score to get the ball back. And those guys take it, to heart.
Can you tell us who the leader is?
I have to look at that board. I don't really have that on me right now.
All right, we'll go to Larshanson, followed by Anthony Edwards. Go ahead, Lars.
Hey, Coach. I know we haven't had a chance to talk to you. Just what went through the process of deciding to come back to Washington, accepting the job, and just what has it been like being back on staff at Washington?
Yeah, I mean, I was so excited to come back. To be a part of this program, be a part of the history of the University of Washington football program. Just being able to reunite with, some of the coaches on the staff that were here during my time before leaving. I was just thrilled to even have the opportunity to be able to come back and just learn from them, to learn and be able to contribute and be, a piece of this puzzle, and I'm excited to be back and thrilled to be a part of, this family. And that's what this place is. It's a family.
And if I could have one follow-up, what have you learned or maybe learned about yourself growing in your game as a coach in the time that you've been away?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm still learning. I think there's a lot that I'm going to continue to be learning over these years. And that's the beauty of being a part of the staff. There's a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, combined in between all the staffs, all the coaches, and I'm just taking it all in.
All right, we'll go to Anthony Edwards from the Daily, followed by Mazvita. Go ahead, Anthony.
Hey, Coach, what have you seen from Asa Turner so far this fall, and what have you guys been working on together?
Yeah, I mean, Asa has, it's a good player. He's obviously had the opportunity to see some field, see the field as a freshman, and you see him grow throughout the season. As I've gone back and watched the tape, and he's taken that step in terms of just continue to grow, continue to learn. In the position that he's in, and ultimately to be able to, help this team be the best that they can be.
All right, we'll go to Mazvita, followed by Chris Fetters. Go ahead, Maz.
Yeah. Hey, Coach, going back to the scrimmage, and I'm not going to ask you about each individual player, but when you're making that evaluation, how much of were players able to execute in the situational things you had him in? And how are you feeling the messaging, whatever that is, don't need to know, how is that being received by the players?
Yeah, you know, I mean, you know, in this room, on this team, you know, we were constantly talking about situational football. And I think that, you know, by us as coaches, you know, continuing to educate these young men as well as we can so that they can, you know, feel confident when they're out there on the field in game-like situations, that they understand what's going on. And that's what we've really been focusing on doing over these past couple of weeks. And you kind of see it come to light yesterday as the guys were out there really just taking advantage of the opportunities that they had and really they understand the message and they understand what is expected and what's demanded of themselves, and they really hold themselves to a high standard, and you can see that.
All right, we'll go to Chris Fetters, followed by Raley. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, Terrence, can you talk a little bit about your relationship with Will Harris and how that's evolved, and also how you guys have figured out how to divvy up the responsibilities between all the different groups within the defensive back room?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Harris, man, it's a great guy. He's a great guy. I'm very fortunate to, you know, be in addition to the staff, and very fortunate to be able to, you know, work alongside with him. And you know, he's doing a really good job in terms of, you know, building confidence in these young men that sit in this room, and really brings a lot of energy to the table. And all I'm trying to do is just replicate and really match, you know, what he brings to the table. He's, you know, has more experience than I do. And I really appreciate, you know, his authenticity. And I really appreciate his attitude and his energy that he brings on a day-to-day basis.
All right, we'll go to Dan Raley, followed by Anthony Edwards. Go ahead, Dan.
Terrence, on either side of the ball yesterday or last night, who had the best play? Who had a highlight that you could share with us?
Yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, I couldn't really say there was one play that stood out specifically. I think that there were some good plays that were made all throughout the scrimmage, to be honest with you. So, you know, those guys, the players, like I said, they took advantage of their opportunities, and it really showed. So,
could you name one or two guys that just did something that, you know, we could write about a little bit?
You know, I would go ahead and say that the offensive defense, they all play complete, you know, so I couldn't really give you a specific name.
All right, we'll go to Anthony Edwards, and we'll wrap it up with Mazvita. Go ahead, Anthony. Oh, we got one more after that. Go ahead, Anthony.
Hey, Coach Lake always talks about just wanting to score or get the ball back, and just who's kind of been the ball hawk in the defensive backfield so far this camp?
Yeah, as I've alluded to before, a lot of guys have had the opportunity to make plays on the ball. They've all rather be interceptions, forced interceptions. A lot of guys have found a way to, you know, make plays on the ball. You know, I've already mentioned a few names. Elijah Moten, Keith Taylor, Trey McDuffie, all those guys have found ways to, you know, touch a ball. And it's really shown to be the case all across the back end, to be honest with you. You know, everybody in this room has come with the mindset to compete, and they understand, you know, what's at stake, and they really just want to make each other better. And that's why they enjoy competing in terms of having, you know, the best hands in the room.
All right, we'll go to Maz, and then Chris Fetters will wrap it up for us. Go ahead, Maz.
Yeah, a little bit far off the beaten path question, but is there any one thing you implemented since this is going to your continued, you know, growth as a coach? Is there anything you want to share that you implemented coming to this season that's new or not in terms of your toolbox?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, you know, coming here and being a part of this staff, you know, they've done such a good job in terms of, you know, setting the standard and what it looks like, you know, to be a teacher, to be a coach, and ultimately, you know, to help develop these young men. And I think all those areas are something that I have room for growth at, to be honest with you. So nothing specifically, but you know, I've really just been trying to pay a little bit more attention to, really, tackling those areas. And that's what's my focus has been in terms of helping these young men and developing these young men.
All right, last question for Coach Brown will be from Chris Fetters. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, Terrence, with all the guys that you just mentioned, what are the odds that a guy like Kyler Gordon ends up in the starting lineup against Cal?
You know what? I guess we'll find out come November 7th. that is not, a decision that I'm making or we're making right now. We'll find out come December 7th. And like I said, all those guys, are going to be able to find a way to see the field, and we're excited to see them all, contribute to the team and hopefully do something special.
All right, thank you for joining us today, Coach Brown. We appreciate it. We'll be back soon with Thule, guys. Hold on.
Thule, Jimmy Lake tweeted out it was a 9-6 game last night. Sounds like no touchdowns and a kind of a defensive dominated effort. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, the defense played very well last night, but obviously there's still adjustments that need to be made. But overall, it was a good team. It was a good team effort on both sides, but just a lot of cleaning up to do. But the defense definitely stepped up last night.
All right, we'll go to Christian Caple, followed by Anthony Edwards. Go ahead, Christian.
Hey, Thule, I know obviously in high school you were committed to USC for a time. I'm just curious what the turning point was for you that led you to sign with Washington in the end.
Just the recruiting class. I was very close with Taki Taimani, and they were just telling me all about the culture and everything, and that's what kind of drew my attention. And yeah, I ended up here.
All right, we'll go to Anthony Edwards, followed by Lauren Kirschman. Go ahead, Anthony.
Hey, Thule, you've dropped 31 pounds since your freshman year. How do you feel just like moving around this fall?
I feel great. Losing that weight, that was a huge deal for me because it was easy on my knees, and just I feel good out there, very comfortable playing any position now. So I feel good now. I feel like an everyday lineman, and yeah.
All right, sorry for the delay there. We'll go to Lauren Kirschman, followed by Chris Fetters. Go ahead, Lauren.
Hey, I was wondering, what are the biggest things you learned about yourself as a player last season, and what was kind of your focus going into this off season to prepare for this year?
One thing I learned was just getting that experience, coming off a redshirt year freshman, not playing a lot or at all, just getting that game time experience was a big help, and I felt good, It's just now already knowing, taking what I learned from last season and just trying to work on all the things that I didn't do well that I could improve on, and still improving the things that I did all right. So I think the biggest thing I took away is just experience, honestly.
All right, apologies for this. That was Lauren that asked that last question, I believe. We'll go to Chris Fetters and then Mike Vorel. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Thule, you mentioned your friendship with Taki is one of the reasons you came to Washington. What is it about your friendship and the connection between the two of you guys that have turned you into such a great pairing on the defensive front? Because you guys look like a natural when you're paired together out there on the field.
Yeah, well, basically, we met at the Polynesian Bowl. We actually played against each other in high school. And after that game, we kind of kept in contact and really got to know each other at the Polynesian Bowl. And I was just telling him that I was kind of iffy with USC. And, he told me exactly why he committed to Washington. And ever since then, always been looking out for me. And same with him. I always looked out for him and just kind of bonded like that. So just everything's natural. It was just all natural, us meeting. So.
All right, we'll go to Mike Vorel, followed by Tony. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I'm wondering, with your frame and your physicality, was it always football for you growing up, or were there other sports before football?
I played a little T-ball growing up. That was about it. But yeah, due to my size, I was mainly just football. So yeah.
All right, we'll go to Tony, followed by Christian Caple. Go ahead, Tony.
Hey, Thule, what sort of effort, diet-wise, workout-wise, did you have to put in this past off season to get to the weight that you're at?
Main thing for me was just cutting out all the fast foods. Like it's just, especially as a college athlete, it's just the easiest thing to do. Easiest thing to access is fast food. So just cutting all that out and just trying to eat at least 3 meals a day and making sure I'm getting the right, putting the right things in my body, which is a huge thing for me. And then just working out is just trying to go even harder and working out on the things that I need to improve on, like with my knee, like getting my knee strength and all that. So losing weight was like the main thing for me.
All right, we'll go to Caple, followed by Dan Raley. Go ahead, Christian.
Yeah, I was wondering how you would describe the role that you're playing on the interior defensive line, which positions you kind of line up at, and just sort of what your responsibilities are, and how the coaches kind of envision using you this season.
Well, right now it's still trying to play everything right now, trying to see exactly where I would fit with the scheme. But I say a lot of no's right now, but you know, I'm still trying to show the coaches that I could play every position, to be honest, on the D-line. So I wouldn't say there's no set position, but just working at everything. So
what do you think you're best at on the D-line?
It's hard to say because I haven't really got a lot of reps at all the other positions, like 3 techs and playing like outside kind of. But for the most part, I say I feel most comfortable at nose. But honestly, I'm ready to play any position. So I'm trying to prove myself.
All right, we'll go to Raley, followed by Fetters. Go ahead, Dan.
When Levi opted out, what was your reaction to that? Were you surprised? Did you think, now I'm going to play a lot more than I envisioned? What would you think?
Well, first I was very happy for him. It's a great step for him, and he was actually my roommate, so he kind of let me know kind of ahead of time. So I was just very happy, to be honest. Wasn't really thinking about myself. I was thinking about his future and how it's going to be a huge step for not only him, but his family as well. So.
All right, we'll go to Chris Fetters, followed by Kim Grinolds. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, Julie, saying that, what kinds of things did you learn from Levi, maybe on and off the field, that you feel like you can take moving forward that are going to help you improve, not just your technique and things like that, but maybe also leadership and things like that, because I know you are considered one of the veterans on that line now.
Well, one of the biggest takeaways I take from Levi is always constantly getting treatment, always making sure our body is doing well. You know, a couple nicks and a couple bruises and scratches. So always making sure I put my body first and getting the right treatments that I need to be able to play on the field. So that was my biggest takeaway from him. And as a leadership role, just try and be more vocal, basically, and lead by example. That was something that he did great last year. So stuff like that.
All right, we'll go to Kim, followed by Mike Vorel. Go ahead, Kim.
Coach Malloy will occasionally put out pictures on Twitters of barbecues and dinners out at his place. Can you kind of give us an idea what those outings are like, and who is it when dinner is served that you don't want to be behind in line?
Well, first of all, when Malloy has that, we're always honored to go over there because he doesn't have to do that, and he just looks out for us. So he's a very good. He definitely blesses us with that because it's a very good food. It's not like it's bad. It's very delicious. But somebody I don't like to stand behind is probably Taki.
All right, we'll go to Mike Vorel, followed by Tony Castricone. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, just on a similar note, I know you mentioned that the hardest thing to cut out was the fast food, and I'm wondering what was the hardest fast food item for you to cut out? What do you miss the most?
McDonald's, because there's one not too far from the stadium, and it's 24 hours. So that's like the main thing. It's cheap, it's easy. So that was probably the main thing, and I definitely miss me some McDonald's.
All right, we'll go to Tony, followed by Chris Fetters. Go ahead, Tony.
A couple of things, Thule. What are you studying? And tell me a little bit about some of the other guys behind you in the room that maybe don't have as much experience, but how they're coming through camp.
Well, what I'm studying right now is I'm a major in American Ethnic Studies. So that's what I'm majoring right now. And as of the guys behind me, we have a lot of redshirt freshmen that's going to be playing a lot this year. So just to name a few, I'm pretty sure Tui is a guy that's up and coming. Jacob Bandez, Noah Ngalu, Draco Bynum, who's actually in my class. They're all playing great right now, and they're all getting ready to get all those snaps.
All right, we'll go to Chris Fetters, followed by Dan Raley. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, Tuli, was really curious on kind of your initial impressions on fall camp from the perspective of how they're run with Coach Lake running things now as opposed to Coach Pete. The energy levels, kind of how things are done. Can you give us some insight on kind of your first reaction on how things have changed maybe a little bit under Coach Lake?
I feel like it's kind of similar to Coach Pete. There's a few changes, but I mean, practice to be honest is very similar to how Pete used to run it. There's definitely a lot of energy. Definitely, Lake kind of lets us, be us. Kind of like he likes let us be free on the field, And I say that's probably the biggest thing is there's like a lot of energy, a lot of guys, actually being comfortable like playing their style, and I feel like that's like probably the biggest change.
All right, we'll wrap things up with Dan Raley. Go ahead, Dan.
Tuli, years and years ago, I wrote a story, got to know a guy named Tony Latula Gassano, who was a great athlete. Is that any relation to you?
I'm not, I don't think so. I haven't came across Tony. No, I haven't. So,
all right, thanks.
All right, well, thank you, Tuli, very much for your time today. We'll be back in a couple days. Everybody else, thanks for coming in.